The night they dug up Adama's grave. I was there. I never wanted to see her again. Not like that. Not after what happened. But the elders said we had to. They said the village would never know peace if we left her there, buried in the soil of the living. Adama was the most beautiful girl anyone had ever seen. When she walked through the village, men stopped what they were doing. Women lowered their eyes. Her skin was smooth like river stones. Her eyes dark like the deepest part of the forest. Men wanted her. Some begged her to marry them. Others fought over her like wild dogs. I remember Seifu, one of the strongest hunters, swearing, "If I cannot have her, no one will." The village women whispered about her too. Some admired her, but many hated her. She's too perfect, they said. She was not meant for this world. Adama never seemed to care. She smiled when men bowed at her feet. She laughed when women whispered behind her back. But then, strange things started to happen. The first man who tried to take her as a wife drowned in the river. Though he had swum there since childhood, his body washed up 3 days later, his mouth wide open, his eyes filled with terror. The second man who pursued her was found in the forest, his body torn apart as if by wild animals. But the strange thing, no animals had been seen in that part of the forest for years. The third man vanished. One evening, he sat outside his hut, drinking palm wine. By morning, he was gone. His footprints led a few steps into the trees, then disappeared. The village searched for days. He was never found. The elders spoke to Adama. "Child, beauty like yours is dangerous. It brings ruin." She only smiled and she said, "I did nothing." Then the sickness came. It started with her mother. She grew weak, her skin turning gray, her breath rattling like dry leaves. Then her father, and then her little sister. One by one, they wasted away. Their eyes darkened, their bodies shivered. Within a month, they were dead. Adama stopped smiling after that. One morning, she walked to the center of the village. People watched as she stood silent, staring at them. Her face was pale, her lips dry. Then, without a word, she collapsed. Someone screamed. The crowd gathered, and when they turned her over, her face was gone. No eyes, no nose, no mouth, just smooth, empty skin. I still hear the cries from that day. Women ran, clutching their children. Men stumbled backwards, whispering prayers under their breath. I could not move. I just stood there staring. The elders buried her quickly. She was never meant to stay among us, they said. But the village was not at peace. Men still saw her in their dreams, standing in the edge of their beds, her faceless head tilted towards them. Women swore they heard her laughter in the wind. Children whispered of a pale figure in the trees watching them. Finally, the elders decided we must dig her up. We must see if she is still there. So we went to her grave that night. The men dug, their hands shaking. The wind howled through the trees, as if warning us to stop, but we did not. I held my breath when the shovel hit the coffin. We pried it open. Inside, we found nothing. Just an empty coffin and the faintest trace of laughter in the wind. Who really was Adama?